You are looking live at the Capitol this evening. Tonight on News 3 at 10, more rain is in the forecast. What does it mean for flooding in the area headed into the week? And volunteers continue to fill sandbags. News 3's Amy Reed has the latest on flooding preparations in Madison. And News 3's Eric Franke sits down with a former member of Governor Walker's cabinet. What he's saying in his new tell-all book. Those stories are coming up right now on News 3 at 10.
This is News 3 at 10.
Good evening and thanks for watching News 3 at 10. I'm Amanda Quintana. Several severe thunderstorm watches and warnings tonight, including a tornado warning earlier tonight. Let's turn it over to Dana Fulton with your first alert forecast. Hi, Dana.
Hi, Amanda. We have had a very active afternoon and evening for us. Even right now, we're dealing with some very heavy rainfall and some strong thunderstorms. In fact, we actually have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings for us right now that we're keeping a close eye on. One in Walworth County, one also just to the eastern edge of the viewing area. But notice these strong storms just dumping a lot of rain. The other main concern here with these storms moving on through the wind threat as they continue to slide east. They're moving through very quickly, moving quite a bit of rain on through, also bringing the chance for some stronger wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, certainly possible. Right near Jefferson, we did get a few reports of some trees downed, also some folks without power in that area right now in Jefferson County. That cell bringing a lot of rain along with it, so please keep that in mind if you're in Jefferson County. You're expecting to see some heavier rainfall just over the next few minutes, even over the next few hours. Here's a look over the last 3 hours. We've had a lot of rain just bubble up and move east. Everything is moving east. It's moving very quickly. The good news with these quicker moving storms, you don't see our rain accumulation climb too fast. Usually it climbs a little quicker when we have, of course, the slower moving storms. Overall precipitation totals still in that 1/4 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch rain for much of Madison as we head overnight and into Monday. The heavier stuff located towards Milwaukee, but we do have the potential to really see some showers and storms still move through overnight. Overnight lows will fall into the low 70s, and by tomorrow we'll be back in the 80s, a high about 86 for us for Monday, but we'll take a closer look at Monday and the week ahead in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Dana. The city of Madison is watching those storms closely. They have now added 1,200 more homes to their list of risk areas, homes near storm drains that empty into the lake. This is all in preparation for more water that could mean more flooding for the people living on the isthmus. Amy Reed continues to follow this story for us. She joins us now live from the city's west side. Amy?
Yeah, Amanda, I'm in Elver Park. You might remember this is one of the areas that flooded when the storm hit last Monday. That's a full week that Dane County's been dealing with this storm. Now, much of Madison was like this. It had dried out a little bit before the rain hit today, but the city worries that that could change. Volunteers keep digging, even as storms roll over Lake Mendota.
I love the rain. I mean, we got you see the lightning, the thunder. I mean, it was beautiful. And it kind of cooled me off, too.
Even if, and maybe especially when, their homes are perfectly fine.
Most of the people I talked to didn't live in the area. They were just like, I want to help, sandbag, do whatever it takes. So that was really, really cool. It was cool. It was really cool to be a part of it, too.
The people who are worried have sandbagged their home, a wall of at least 2 or 3 bags protecting their foundation. Even though water on Mifflin Street is down lower since last week, full storm drains mean even just a few inches could lead to flash floods.
The determination of what happens in the coming days is not just the volume of water we may arrive at Madison, but we have to look at the entire watershed.
The city wants people who live on the east side to be careful where you park, stay out of low-lying areas, and be careful about trees that may uproot more easily because of oversaturated ground. If you have to get downtown, try and come in from the south and west sides, and don't tour flooded areas.
Those neighborhoods have enough problems as it is. Cars driving through the 3- and 4-inch water on some of these streets doesn't help.
The city will stay vigilant as more storms loom on the horizon, and the volunteers will be there.
I'm super glad I came out today and the other day. It was a great way to spend the evening. I feel really good about it. I'm kind of I'll go home and have a chocolate malt and feel like I deserve this.
And the city offered free buses this weekend. They're planning on continuing that tomorrow, so that gives you an alternative to driving into the Isthmus. Now, this is obviously a very fluid situation, particularly with rain chances continuing over the next few days. So we'll continue to keep you updated on channel3000.com and tomorrow on News 3 this morning. Amanda, back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Amy. Highway 14 between Middleton and Cross Plains is back open for the first time since Monday's storm. Around noon today, the Wisconsin DOT opened the stretch of highway. However, officials say through traffic on the highway remains detoured. Drivers should use U.S. Highway 12 and State Highway 78. University of Wisconsin students are about to be in the midst of move-in season. Today was early move-in day for students who will be working for UW Housing, as well as international students. With heavy rains and flooding possibly on the horizon, it could cause transportation difficulties for the hundreds of families coming to campus. University officials are recommending that students come to campus from the south and west to avoid possible street closures on the Isthmus. But despite all that, first-year students are excited to get settled in.
It's not been as stressful as people have told me, but obviously it's been, you got to make sure you don't forget anything, then you got to go all the way home to grab one little thing. So just making sure I'm packed and everything like that. So I'm relieved now that it's over, but now I'm excited now because I can make a lot of new friends here.
Move-in will continue throughout Thursday. Officials are expecting it to go on as scheduled. Police in Monona are investigating reports of shots fired overnight. Officers say the first happened near the intersection of Stoughton Road and Broadway around 6:45 last night. Witnesses told police someone in a red SUV fired 3 shots at another vehicle while stopped at a red traffic light. More shots were fired around 4 this morning between Monona Drive and Stoughton Road. 2 cars were weaving in and out of traffic when the people inside started shooting at each other. No one was injured, but police say they did recover shell casings at the scene. Madison police say they're looking for a suspect after an armed robbery at a bank. Around 11:15 yesterday morning, the suspect walked into the Associated Bank on Cottage Grove Road and demanded money. He ended up leaving with some money. If you have any information, you are asked to call the Madison Police Department non-emergency number. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office says a gunman killed 2 people and shot 9 others before killing himself at a video game tournament in Florida. At least 2 other people were injured as gamers were forced to run for their lives. Meg Oliver has the latest.
A football video game tournament was underway at a mall in Jacksonville, Florida, when gunfire suddenly erupted. People could be heard screaming on the live stream as the shots rang out. Police say the gunman was a participant in the tournament and took his own life.
He's a well-known, competitor. I don't know. Like I said, I guess he just came and shot up the place. It seems like it was premeditated.
He's now identified as 24-year-old David Katz from Baltimore, Maryland.
So I'll not be discussing any details pertaining to the motive at this time, as that part of the investigation is still ongoing.
The mass shooting happened as gamers were playing the popular Madden 19 video game. Marquise Williams was only about 40 feet away from the shooter.
What did you see?
Everyone running for their lives. People were being trampled. People were hiding. Everybody was screaming in fear. I saw the back of his head. He was actually backing out of where he was shooting from.
Police say the suspect used one handgun in the shooting and that he acted alone.
Representatives with the Milwaukee Bucks say a member of their NBA 2K video game team was shot during that event. According to his mother, Tim Anselimo, a Brooklyn, New York native, was shot 3 times. Bucks officials say they are monitoring his health. Coming up, we talk to a former member of Governor Scott Walker's cabinet about his tell-all book, why Ed Wall is calling Walker and Attorney General Brad Schimmel deceptive and dishonest. Welcome back. With Election Day just 72 days away, a former Scott Walker cabinet member is talking to News 3 about his tell-all book out this month. In his first TV interview about the book, Ed Wall tells News 3's Eric Franke plainly he wants his book to affect the way you vote in November.
The book is called Unethical: Life in Scott Walker's Cabinet and the Dirty Side of Politics. And in it, former Wisconsin Corrections Secretary Ed Wall isn't holding back.
What I want is for the people of Wisconsin just to know, to have a different perspective of what the two people going for the highest elected offices in our state are like before they go to the polls.
It was April 2016 when Wall was fired by Attorney General Brad Schimmel after returning to the Department of Justice for one day on the job, after he had resigned as the Department of Corrections Secretary.
Schimmel told me while I was still the Secretary of Corrections, we're going to put you in your position for a day and we're moving you to a non-law enforcement position.
Shortly after, he was fired altogether for suggesting to the governor's chief of staff that he could shred a public document.
The document that they keep pointing to saying that, you know, he destroyed a record, it was my transfer appeal that only I cared about. I mean, that's all it was.
I'm not going to give a lot of credence to someone who actively asked a state employee to break the open records law.
Wall says the Walker administration is veiled in secrecy. He says that's why he even suggested shredding a document.
They did everything to avoid records, would have me travel back and forth to the Capitol to talk with them in person, no emails.
But Wall, who considers all of this a smear on his 30-plus year law enforcement career, says it all comes down to one thing: Lincoln Hills.
The governor's office never mentioned juvenile justice to me once.
Even before Wall took over corrections in October 2012, the governor was alerted about issues at the state's youth prisons. And when it came to a head 2 years into Wall's tenure, he says he asked for an outside agency to investigate allegations of abuse of juvenile prisoners at Lincoln Hills.
So I made the request to DCI to come in and handle the case, and then for whatever reason, Brad Schimmel came in office just as we requested it, and they dragged their feet on the case. They had one agent working part-time on it for 10 months.
We are running to serve as your President of the United States of America.
As the governor sought higher office in 2015, Wall says the governor's aides kept the black eye that was Lincoln Hills out of sight, out of mind.
So that year, the governor did not meet with me on the budget. So our $2.65 billion budget was dealt with by some of his underlings, and he wouldn't go anywhere near us.
Wall says despite prodding the governor and attorney general for more action on Lincoln Hills, he became the scapegoat.
What it really came down to was the governor and the attorney general needed somebody to fall on their sword for the Lincoln Hills investigation.
His firing, a loss of retirement benefits, and most of all, a public shaming led Ed Wall down a dark path.
It brought me to the edge of mortality. I had a gun in my mouth, something I'm not proud of and I could never understand. I started the suicide awareness program in the Department of Corrections, and then I found myself at that position.
I mean, for him, I just hope he gets the help that he needs.
To this day, the investigation into abuse at the state's youth prisons remains open. Scott Walker and Brad Schimmel seek re-election.
Between he and Brad Schimmel both, you know, they become masters at illusion, and they're not the people that I thought that they were.
The man who considered himself a lifelong conservative but mostly non-political, Wall now openly supports the governor's opponent, Tony Evers.
I'm more than happy to help him any way I can just because I think he's a good man, and I can't say that anymore about Scott Walker.
The state Republican Party offered this response, calling Ed Wall a, quote, discredited former employee who was fired for trying to destroy public records, adding, quote, after he resigned, he returned to his previous position as head of DCI, but was placed on paid administrative leave immediately to protect the integrity of the Lincoln Hills investigation. It's clear that he didn't separate with DOC on the best of terms as the investigation snowballed on his watch. Ed Wall still lives in Wisconsin, but currently commutes to New Hampshire, where he works for a cybersecurity firm. All right, let's check in now with Dana Fulton. We still have some rain headed our way.
We do. We're in this pattern, actually, throughout the next few hours. We still have the threat to see some scattered showers and storms move through overnight. This is just a look at the last few hours for us. Had quite a stormy evening. Several severe thunderstorm warnings for us throughout southern Wisconsin. Right now, most of the storms are staying to the east, sort of lifting away from Dane County into Jefferson County and then shifting to the eastern side of the state. But we do still have some stronger storms moving through the area, not ruling out anybody for the chance to still see some showers and thunderstorms overnight. As far as our rainfall totals so far today, looking towards Columbia County, the edge of Jefferson County, anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches plus. plus in that direction. Some areas getting just a little more with that heavier rainfall over the last few hours. Towards the southern side, you go south of Dane County, Greene and Rock counties, anywhere from 1/4 of an inch up to an inch of rain so far just in the last few hours. We do have the chance to see some stronger thunderstorms tomorrow. This is our severe weather outlook for Monday. A marginal risk from Dane County on south, and then as you head north, we have the slight risk for some severe weather tomorrow. Looking ahead to Tuesday, we do have a marginal risk stretching through most of southern Wisconsin. It's just going to be kind of a stormy pattern for the next few days, and I know we don't need any more rain at this point. Overnight, a few showers and thunderstorms possible, but we get a little bit of a break tomorrow. It's not going to be soggy all day long, just a chance later on in the day to have some isolated thunderstorms. By Tuesday afternoon, that's when our next real threat for some showers really moves on in. We are expecting Tuesday afternoon and evening to deal with quite a bit of rain sliding on through. Of course, some stronger wind gusts possible as that rain comes through, so we'll be monitoring that very closely. Our precipitation totals will continue to climb. These are not good numbers for us, anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches falling throughout much of the state by Wednesday evening. So we get through our next few rounds of rain. That's where our numbers will climb to. We're already about 4 inches ahead for the month, and a lot of places right now just don't need any more rain at all. So we do still need to dry up just a little bit for us. Right now in downtown Madison, it's dry under a mostly cloudy sky. We hit a high of about 87 today, which is well above average. It was warm and a little sticky. Right now, close to 74. So it's cooled down just a little bit, but that humidity is still at 85%. Still feels pretty muggy outside for us currently. As we look ahead through the next several days, we are expecting our temperatures to continue to stay warm. 86 the high for tomorrow under a partly sunny sky. We do still have, as you saw, that shower and storm chance to pop up again for us tomorrow. Again, that's for Monday to start off the work week. We'll stay warm for the next few days for us. And overall, the storm chances will continue to shift on east, and we'll stay a little soggy, unfortunately, moving into the start of the week. Both Monday and Tuesday, expecting to see some showers moving on through the southern portion of the state. And again, we just don't need any more rain right now, and that's kind of the bad news for us. No, not at all.
Not at all.
But by Wednesday and Thursday, we will dry up just a little bit.
All right, you've got a lot to monitor.
Absolutely, yes.
All right, thank you so much, Dana. Well, the Packers adding to the roster with one preseason game left. That story is coming up next in sports.
News
Well, the Packers making some moves today after Oren Burks hurt his shoulder during pregame warm-ups in Oakland on Friday. So Green Bay going for another inside linebacker in the form of Antonio Morrison from the Indianapolis Colts. He is now a Green Bay Packer. The team got him in exchange for cornerback Lindsey Pipkins. Now, head coach Mike McCarthy saying that position is one they want to add experience to. Morrison is in his third year in the league. In his 2 seasons in Indy, he played in 31 games, started in 19 of them, and put up 154 tackles. Well, it is finally game week, everyone. The Badgers kick off the season this Friday under the lights at Camp Randall at 8 against Western Kentucky. Side note, by the way, UW officials are recommending that you do leave yourself plenty of time this Friday and to check and see which roads are under construction near Monroe Street or closed due to the flooding. Now, as for the guys on the team, they are very ready to go out and hit someone else not in Wisconsin red. And the Badgers have a strong veteran core, but also have some newbies that have spent the summer and fall bonding, meshing, and playing together. All keys to success, according to head coach Paul Christ.
It's how we come together, and then you have to and you get to go out and do it. And I think that what separates the good offenses from the great offenses is in those moments that you need it to be able to come through. And I think that'll be the opportunity that this group has.
To some baseball now, the wild card race continuing to stay tight at the top with 6 teams just about 3 games apart. The Brewers nearing the top of that list, battling with the Cardinals and Diamondbacks coming into the day. Rubber match against the Pirates. Big third inning for the Brew Crew. Mike Moustakas taking that ball all the way up to the upper decks in right field, bringing Ryan Braun home with him. 4-0 Brewers. 2 batters later, Manny Pena does the same, also bringing home a buddy with him, Jonathan Scope. 6-0 Brewers, and they win the series. 7-4 the final score. They are now tied with the Cardinals for the top spot in the wild card race. The Bucks' new digs officially opening its doors today at the Fiserv Forum, which is located in downtown Milwaukee. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver among the celebs cutting the ribbon at today's grand opening ceremony, also putting down some signatures there. Former Senator Herb Kohl was also there to witness history. He also checked out his street sign, that is Herb Kohl Way. He thinks that this is a wonderful day for our state.
Great day for Wisconsin. It wasn't easy. There were many different parties that needed to be brought together to make this happen. So great credit goes to many people. But the bottom line is we've done it. And this arena is going to be here for many years. The Bucks are going to stay here for many years. So I'm a very happy man.
Finally tonight, Little League World Series Championship game, Hawaii versus South Korea. First inning here, Mana Lau Kong going after the first pitch he sees, and it is a home run. Hawaii up 1-0. They are excited. Third inning now, South Korea pitching. It's a wild one. Then the throwing error there with the bases loaded. So 2 runs come home for the Hawaiians. And then finally, Ka'au Holt, the K here to end it all. Hawaii wins 3-0. They are the Little League World Series champions. Especially, so this is in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. I've actually been to it before. And for them to travel so far away, take home a world championship with them, it's a pretty cool event for them.
I love seeing them celebrate.
Yeah,
Those are the best games to watch.
Exactly. It's a genuine
so
emotion.
Oh,
yeah.
Thanks so much. We'll be right back. We still have some rain on the way. A lot of things to look out for in the next few days.
Absolutely. Just in the last few hours, we've had some really strong thunderstorms move through southern Wisconsin. As we take a step back, you notice even more rain moving through the northern portion of Iowa right now. That's headed right in our direction. So we're not ruling out the chance to see some scattered showers and thunderstorms overnight. That'll linger into early Monday. Tuesday also has a chance for some scattered thunderstorms. Both days very warm and muggy. And then we finally cool down just a little bit. Dries up just a little bit as well for the middle of the week before we warm up for our Labor Day weekend. Looking a little dicey as well, unfortunately.
All right, thanks. Have a great night.
Download